Alrighty guys, welcome back. Earlier we were talking about the men's Final Four viewership and how it is up slightly, but did not surpass the Iowa versus UConn women's basketball game. And now we're going to be talking about how CeeDee Lamb is threatening a holdout for a new contract. But before we do that, I just wanted to remind you guys to like and follow the show. We get a number of questions from viewers that come in during the show, so to ensure that your question gets read on the air, I ask that you use the tips and donation link with your question. That link is GSMCPodcast.net. This just puts your question at the top of the list so that I can see it, and it just also really helps the show. So,
all right.
all right.
You just gave it that nice pregnant pause. I'm like, nicely done. Okay.
I know. I finally can do it now with like not looking at my notes. I know it almost word for word now.
Just let it. It just flows.
Just flows.
So we're talking about my favorite team today.
The Dallas Cowboys. Ooh, when do we not talk about the Dallas Cowboys?
You cannot escape the Cowboys.
That is very true.
So.
Alrighty, so according to a report by the Dallas Morning News, star wide receiver CeeDee Lamb is threatening a holdout for a new contract. Dallas Cowboys wide receiver CeeDee Lamb is entering the final year of his rookie contract and could hold out for a better deal. A first-round pick in the 2020 NFL Draft, the Oklahoma product quickly established himself as one of the most dangerous secondary options in the game. While playing behind Amari Cooper, the wide receiver recorded a combined 153 receptions for 2,037 yards and 11 touchdowns through his first 2 seasons. The Cowboys traded Amari Cooper following the 2021 season, leaving Lamb as the top option in the passing attacks. The third-year receiver was up for the task, eliminating any doubt about his ability to be one of the best receivers in the game. Last year, CeeDee Lamb won first-team All-Pro honors while recording 135 receptions for 1,749 yards and 12 touchdowns, and now the receiver could hold out for a deserved extension. According to Michael Gilkeen of the Dallas Morning News, CeeDee Lamb is expected to skip voluntary OTAs and could continue his holdout into mandatory mini camp. CeeDee Lamb could hold out, potentially miss minicamp. Nobody should blame CeeDee Lamb for his holdout, as the wide receiver is long overdue for a massive extension. Lamb was effectively the Cowboys' entire passing attack last year, as the wide receiver led the league in receptions while compensating for the depleted abilities of Michael Gallup and Brandon Cooks. Without him, Dallas couldn't stand a chance of winning a competitive NFC East. Chances are the CeeDee Lamb holdout will end with a new contract. Wide receivers have never been more important than in today's pass-heavy NFL, and Lamb is one of the best in the game. However, this is the Dallas Cowboys we're talking about, and you never know what Jerry Jones will do. As it is, the team needs to sign quarterback Dak Prescott and star edge rusher Micah Parsons, so there might not be enough money left over for Lamb. Some teams should be willing to give up multiple first-round picks for his services, and the Cowboys could entertain a few offers.
Okay. Now, when I hear this and I think about, okay, traditionally, if you're the Cowboys, the priority should be signing Dak and then Micah or CeeDee Lamb. They're both big time guys. But Dak is the one that is traditionally the big, the most important one. Your quarterback, that's the big one.
Yeah.
Right. And with the fact that you still have franchise tags and things of that nature that you could do with those guys. If you're the Cowboys, Dak is the top priority. But if I am CeeDee Lamb's agent, I don't step on the field. Absolutely not. I hold out.
Yeah.
The blueprint has been made. Ezekiel Elliott wrote the blueprint. And the blueprint is, hey, Dak is up for a contract. I'm coming off my best year yet. I'm going to hold out because the Cowboys' priority was sign Dak, then Zeke. Well, I'm here to say if they would have kept that approach and they signed Dak first, and Zeke would have had that next year, which was a little bit less than the previous year, he'd have been on the downslide. Number one, he would have gotten a lot less money, or he might have been traded away. And so, because Zeke went to Cabo and held out, he got his contract before Dak did. And no one thinks that Zeke would have ever gotten that money if he would have waited. Well, CeeDee Lamb is a little bit worse. CeeDee Lamb is coming off of a year that very few wide receivers have ever had. Led the league in receptions, 1,700 yards. He's the focal point of the offense. Everything you want. You're coming off your best year ever. If you're his agent, you don't want to wait until Dak gets his money. You do not want to wait until Micah Parsons gets their money because you have three guys that want to be the highest paid player in their position. CeeDee Lamb wants to be the highest paid wide receiver in the NFL. Is he deserving? Yes. Micah Parsons wants to be the highest paid defensive player in the NFL. Is he deserving? Yes. Unfortunately, Dak Prescott, for what he has done, wants to be the highest paid quarterback in the NFL. Some people would say, is he deserving? No. I would say, yes, he is deserving. I just wouldn't do it. So the blueprint is made if you having three guys that are in a place to get blockbuster contracts right now. One of these seats have to go. I feel like one of the three, I don't see how Dallas can sign all three of them. And so if CeeDee Lamb if I'm CeeDee Lamb's agent, I'm holding out. I'm holding out to get my contract to put me in front of the line. I'm cutting the line, and I'm not stepping foot on the field until I get my contract, because the alternative is just what this guy was saying later on. If they sign Dak and they sign Micah, then looking around, you could see CeeDee Lamb being traded somewhere else for a bunch of picks because the Cowboys just don't have enough salary cap space. The Cowboys would love to sign all three of them, but there's a salary cap. And there's not enough salary cap. That Cowboys are in salary cap hell right now. So being able to kind of shift things around a little bit, that's the thing. When you start looking at the Cowboys, you start thinking about Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott has the Cowboys held hostage. All three of these guys are coming off of record years. He had a great year. He's at Dak Prescott at the end of his contract. He has a no trade clause, and you can't franchise tag him. So, and the salary cap hit is so big for Dak Prescott that the only chance the Cowboys have is to sign Dak for a long-term contract and spread it out over years, that salary cap hit, so that they can get Micah and maybe CeeDee Lamb. The crazy thing is, if Dak leaves, I don't know if Dallas has enough money, salary cap space wise, to sign both of them. I feel like they have to sign Dak in order to have a shot at signing both of these guys. Dak has set himself up into a place where, Dallas is over a barrel. And
Yeah.
it's gonna be rough for them.
What is it with Dallas and having all these players that demand to be the most played player in their position? Like,
Okay,
what's that about?
okay, here's the thing. People don't realize this, but the Cowboys are, my opinion, the best drafters in the NFL. They don't go out and get free agents. They don't go out and get a lot of free agents. They draft their guys and turn them into stars. And so Dallas drafted CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb has turned into a star. Micah Parsons, they drafted him, struck gold with him, and he's a star. Dak Prescott, I think he's a third round pick, fourth round pick, struck gold with him, and he's a star. You're a star, one of the best players in the game on the most high profile team in the league, and they want their money. That's the difference. If they were poor at drafting, then it'd be a little easier on them. No one, you never hear about, a middle of pack wide receiver holding out or demanding top dollar.
Yeah.
Because you're middle of the pack. The fact is, the reason why Cowboys have been so good is because they've drafted so well. And because of that, they've had themselves in a bit of a bind. Just like Ezekiel Elliott, when he held out, Cowboys drafted him. He was turned out to be the best running back in the NFL. He held out, got the biggest contract in football for a running back in history. And then he slid from there, but these guys are getting paid. Also, football is different than all other sports. When you're a basketball player, you got years to play. If you're a baseball player, you got years to play. A football player, their career could end just like that. If you're CeeDee Lamb and you only have 1 year left on your contract, if you go out there and play and you get injured, one, your career could be over. Two, you could have an injury and that big giant contract is over. So football players have to strike while the iron is hot. And that means I got to get my money. I got to get my huge contract. I got to get as much guaranteed money as humanly possible. I want to get as big a signing bonus as humanly possible, because a lot of times the future's not promised for them. The average NFL player, I think 2.5 years, 3 years is the average time a player is in the NFL, because most don't make it that long. If you come off there's guys, they get an injury and they're never the same again. Like you talk about Robert Griffin III, came out rookie of the year, ended up hurting his knee. He's out of the league. He's a young man wanting to play in the league, but he's gone. There's story after story of so many players that got injured and didn't make it. And that's the reason why a lot of players are like, you know what? I want to get mine now. Because waiting a year could be devastating to me. Waiting a year, instead of being the highest paid wide receiver in the NFL, you could be trying to get on, hoping that someone picks you up for league minimum just by the wrong injury happening. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That's the danger. That's the dangerous thing about football. That's the reason why so many people fought for name, image, and likeness in college. Because imagine that kid who's playing college football and they get injured and their career is over before it ever gets started. Now name, image, and likeness helps them out there. But back to the Cowboys, if I'm the agent of CeeDee Lamb, I'm telling them to hold out. That's the tough thing about the situation. What's best for the Cowboys? What's best for the Cowboys is no matter what to sign Dak Prescott. I've openly talked about, like, I'm not signing Dak. I'd sign Dak for like a 50 million a year type contract, but I'm not signing him for 60, 65. But the truth be told, I don't think they have much choice. The salary cap hit is so massive this year and next year that it would cripple the Cowboys. The Cowboys would have to take major step back if they lose Dak Prescott. And so the top priority is Dak, and then maybe CeeDee. See, Micah's just. I'm signing Micah before I sign CeeDee Lamb. And that's the tough thing. Most teams don't have 3 superstars that they have to sign in the same year. It's normally, oh, this year we got to sign this guy. Next year we'll sign this guy. And the year after that, we got to sign this guy. Dallas just so happens, because they drafted these guys all right about the same time, and Dak's contract is coming up right about the same time. It's like, hey, we want to get paid. And that's actually a curse in that situation. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Or are you just tired of the Cowboys?
No, I'm not tired of the Cowboys. It's just, I don't know. I always think it's funny when players who are already making a lot of money demand more money. I just think that's
now, see,
funny concept to me.
It is a weird concept, but it's an important concept. That's a great topic to talk about as well. If you're a football player, a lot of players love the whole story of Tom Brady taking a pay cut to play for New England. Brady, yes, he took a pay cut, but Brady always was one of the highest paid. He just didn't have to be the number 1 highest paid quarterback. He never took a massive cut. Situations happen. If you're a player, and let's say you're getting paid at this level, and there's another guy getting paid at this level as an owner, one's getting paid $1 million, other one's getting paid $30 million a year. Both of them are under contract. They're playing the same position. Which one do you want to see? Which one is the owner going to want to see play? The guy that's getting paid $30 million over the guy that's getting paid $1 million. Even if the guy that's getting paid $1 million is slightly better, the guy that's getting $30 million is going to play. Fans, hey, we paid this guy $30 million or $20 million or $10 million, whatever that number is. We want to see him play. So you have a lot of times a player can't take a massive discount because, and as far as the investment in a team, the ownership is going to want to see the players that they're paying the big dollars to get out on the field and perform and get their money's worth. So it cuts so many ways when you're starting to think about this, that, you know, your contract determines some of your playing time, who's starting. I mean, there's been numerous situations where the backup was outperforming the starter. The starter was the one that had the big name and the big contract, and the general manager eventually traded away the backup because we've invested the money in the big name guy. And so that's a factor that people don't talk about very often in professional sports. But performance and value are the 2 things that are super important in who gets playing time. So does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes a little more sense now.
It just sounds, I know,
overall,
it sounds
I'm
crazy.
just like, dude, you're making like $35 million. Why are you complaining about it?
See, it's always easy to, you know, because if you don't have it, it's hard for you to imagine, like, you know, looking around and saying, you're not going to play because you're not getting you're getting like a bit, you're getting millions, but you want even more millions. For someone that doesn't have it, it's hard to grasp that
Maybe I
concept.
should start demanding.
You can make these type of demands.
Nothing less than $1 million, or I walk, Tate.
Wow. Boy, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna miss Faith. She was a wonderful addition to the show. You're worth every bit of it, though. That's the thing. On that one, we're gonna move on.
All right, guys. Well, with that, we are going to take a short little break, and when we come back, we're going to be talking about Kentucky basketball's coaching candidates list. So make sure you guys stick around, and we will be back in a minute.